And we can have the question part, Anaïs, if you want to be there. Okay.
So, Rotana, do you agree with because 68% people believe that the crop sectors, where is that?
Turn on the mic.
No, it's not me. Yeah. Anaïs, you have to put the question of the second session, not this one. Yes. No. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes, you can be.
So it's working? Hello?
No, you have to press here.
You have to press that, yeah.
Here.
Hello. Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and very welcome to this gathering. And this is truly an honor and privilege for me to be here with our long-standing friends and partners. And we have grown together over the years. And today's gathering reflects that shared journey, commitment, and vision for the future. We have a brilliant lineup of speakers dedicated to improving the lives of the poor, shaping their communities and countries and even the world. You have diversified programs for vulnerable communities, including microcredit, microinsurance, health, education, and water sanitation initiatives, and even fundamental supports such as providing sleeping bed in the Yemen. Amazing. Yes, it is truly inspiring to see how closely you work with the communities and how holistically you respond to their needs. So my sincere appreciation and salute to you all. May I now invite each of our panelists to briefly introduce yourself and a short overview of your program in 2 minutes each. Thank you. We can start from Dory. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think it. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dory Torres, and I'm one of the co-founders of CARD. We started in 1986 as a small NGO. We started operations in 1988, and in 1989, we have 89 women who are borrowing and paying every week and attending weekly meetings at 100%. So we thought that's what we needed. And then in 89, we replicated the Grameen Bank system, inculcating very strict credit discipline, especially on the weekly repayment and the weekly attendance and the weekly savings. Today, in 1997, we had 100,000 clients, so we registered our microfinance operation as a rural bank in the Philippines, regulated rural bank. Today, we have 9.5 million clients. We have 34 institutions, and the rural bank that we registered with the Bangko Sentral is now a commercial bank in the Philippines. And our portfolio has also grown from 89,000, because 89 women is borrowing 1,000 pesos each. At during the time, 25 pesos per the exchange rate. Now it's 60 pesos, almost 60 pesos. And now we have almost 1 billion loan outstanding, and the total assets is about 2.2 billion. I will share how we were able to establish the 34 institutions later. Thank you.
Thank you, Dory. So now we move to
Hi, everyone. My name is Omar Lutf. Actually, I come from Yemen. We have established in 2018 Grameen, Yemen. Before that, my chairman has been moved looking for some solution for poor people. And then he went to Bangladesh to meet Professor Muhammad Yunus, which Professor Muhammad Yunus has supported us with everything. They sent a team to Yemen to study how is Yemen, how is the environment, and after that, in we do establish everything. So by 2020, we establish our first job in Hodeidah city, which means a part of Yemen. Why this place is actually we choose because this people is the poorest people in the Yemen, actually in the north, and this people have live with the land, with every resources in this land has available, so that they need as a Grameen model to implement there, and everything I think is available there. Just only like how to now what they have to do. We are, thanks for God, today have been reached 35,000 financing. We see financing, not loan, because we are non-profit organization. And we do a social businesses like healthcare. We do operations for the satirics. We do cleft clips for children, which we do almost 1,000. We do also the sanitation, water, also some water, raw material water for people, which mean a little bit difficult because it's a village, to prevent actually from the sick and everything as much as possible. We do education. Unfortunately, what's happened in Yemen last time, recently, like 10 years, there is no education as before. So we try to do our best to do. So we spend more than 25,000 to the children as a book, because there is no book from the government. And we do like almost 750 big women for teaching afternoon than to get education. And we trying actually to do more challenging in this section. And we are planning actually, we are working actually to move to, as a remain strong, these things challenging for us. We are trying to do our own special law from the government.
We will listen to the challenges
no
later.
Problem. Okay. Thank you.
Roshane?
Good afternoon, everyone. I think there's an international conspiracy because I always get the afternoon post-lunch. So I have to keep people energized. First, I want to thank everyone, and Philippe in particular, for inviting me here. And Tasmina and I go a long way back. In 1994, when I was a young intern at the Grameen Bank, part of the Grameen replication program to try and replicate Grameen in Pakistan, Tasmina was my guide and my babysitter. So she took care of me, and I can't thank enough the people of Bangladesh for their generosity, because all that we do in Pakistan today is a result of that relationship. So thank you to all of you, and thank you, Tasmina.
Yeah.
So coming back to the work that we do, we were the first replicators of Grameen Bank in Pakistan, and when I remember sitting with Dr. Yunus in his office in 1994, he said one thing to me which stayed with me forever. He said, microfinance is not rocket science. It's going to be really, really easy for you to replicate it. The products work, here they are, you can just take them to Pakistan, and I can tell you, I promise you 100%, it's going to work. But can you imagine what he said was going to be my biggest challenge? Any ideas, any thoughts? I'm just trying to make you wake up. and not make you sing for your supper, just to tell you what he said to me. He said, Roshane, your biggest challenge is going to be changing mindsets. And that's really what we are in the business of. We are changing a system, we are changing a mindset. So when I started microfinance in Pakistan and I looked at the outcomes or the challenges, we saw that for every $100 that was being dispersed to low-income families in Pakistan, less than 10% went to women. Today, it's the other way around. 70% of the loans that are dispersed in Pakistan go to women. And that was the story that we started. Today, Kashf has 1 million female clients. We continue, our raison d'etre continues to be women. But when you work on poverty, and that's something we're going to talk about today, and I'll stop very soon, It's a concentric circle. It's like peeling an onion. You may start with financial services, but then very slowly you have to add other things. So we started with financial services. We ended up with investing in the capacity building of entrepreneurs. We realized that wasn't enough because when you look at women, you look at their multiple needs in the household, you look at unpaid care, you look at reproductive burden, then health and health insurance needs to enter, and so on and so forth. So currently, Kashf has over 6.5 million beneficiaries under its insurance program. Our largest program today in Pakistan is microinsurance, and we have a lot of products in that, which I will talk on later. But I think the most important thing is about impact. So what difference has this made? And we'll also talk about that. So I'll stop here now.
Thank you. Thank you, Roshane. Professor?
Thank you for the invitation. I am the Vice President of the Yunus Italia Foundation. This foundation was created at the year 2010, thanks to Professor Yunus, thanks to University of Bologna, and thanks to one of the largest banks in Italy. The scope, the goal, the target of this foundation at that time was to support a specific new bank created to give some microfinance and microcredit facilities. But during the time, the bank changed the idea, so we have the foundation. And we use the foundation to try to design different programs, different activities related to capacity building to help the people to do application for microcredit using different kind of banks, community banks, other banks. They are in a network. So our scope was create a group of people, define a program, a path where we can help these people that are not able to get in touch with a traditional banking system to develop a new idea and try to be entrepreneurship of themselves. This kind of program was called Grameen Lab, and we applied in different circumstances, and we help people to get advantage of national law related to microfinance. In Italy, there is a specific collateral scheme. If you provide business development services, you can get some collateral from the government that can make it much easier to get finance from the traditional banking system. There is also a strong connection with the University of Bologna because there is also Yunus Social Business Center. So we spent a lot of time and resource to help students to get closer to 3-0 Club. These are another activities that we perform daily basis also with entrepreneurship. And the last point is related to European program focused on microfinance, microcredit, social inclusion, because these kind of activities can guarantee in some sense the financial stability of the foundation. So the relation is right now strongly related to students, to 3-0s, and European microfinance projects.
Thank you, Professor. Hanadi?
Hello, everybody, and thank you for being here after lunch, actually, which is really hard. My name is Hanadi Tutunji. I'm the head of technical assistance at the Grameen Crédit Agricole Foundation. We're going to talk about the programs, of course, and what we do and some of the lessons learned. But what I want to talk about now is how I got introduced to the Grameen Trust, actually. I am a nutritionist by training, so I am a nutritionist, and I'm from Lebanon, from the Middle East, and we were doing a research on food security back then in the Middle East with my university and with Save the Children. And one of the results of this study was that people do not necessarily need only food assistance, they need more. Some of them do need food assistance, others need cash. And then Save the Children thought, well, there is this little thing back in Bangladesh, somebody called Mohammed Yunus who's doing things. How about we replicate it here? And this is how Grameen lured me into getting into microfinance. And look where we are now. I mean, back then it was a very small initiative, and now Grameen is like everywhere. So this makes me proud that I have joined this sector. About the technical assistance at the Grameen Crédit Agricole Foundation, what we do usually, we support our investments to maximize the value. We support our partners to expand, to innovate, to try to stabilize the markets they enter, because when you enter a new market, whether with a new product or a new thematic or a new area, geographic area, the cost is very, very high. So what we try to do is support them in bearing this cost, support them in expanding and with stable growth, basically.
Thank you. Thank you, Hannah-Dee, and thank you all, our dear panelists, for your introduction and for sharing the overviews of your program. It is truly inspiring to see the remarkable contributions and impact you have made in your communities. We would now like to hear more about the strategies behind these achievements, the challenges you encounter, the innovative products and services you have developed to enhance the quality of the life of the poor, and your long-term vision for the future. So I would like to start with Dory. I know CARD began as an NGO in 1986, but it has now 3 microfinance banks, 4 microinsurance companies, and 4 IT companies. So Dory, could you share with us the key challenges CARD has encountered in introducing and managing such a large, diversified, and much-needed range of services for the poor, and the strategies you have taken to address those challenges? Thank you.
Yeah. First challenge that we encountered is on creating strong discipline among our clients. Before we implemented the Grameen replication, our repayment rate with our credit and savings program is very low. It's less than 50% repayment rate. Then we heard of the success of Grameen Bank when Professor Yunus went to Manila to share the success of Grameen Bank. So immediately we went to, in '89, we visited the Grameen Bank. We stayed at the area office and learned the rigorous how Grameen Bank has been creating very strong credit discipline among the very poor women. So when we returned to Philippines, we addressed that. We encourage clients to pay. And as I said, in '89, we only have motivated 89 women. And then that 89 women became the source of inspiration for the staff and for the members, for the clients. So then the other clients followed, and then we were successful in achieving an almost 100% repayment rate. And so we were able to address that, and then that's one of the major principles that we learned from Grameen Bank that is until now we are maintaining. That's why with our 9.5 million clients now, or almost 10 million, our repayment rate is still 99.5%. Even during the pandemic, we were one of the microfinance institutions in the Philippines that has very high repayment rate. In terms of the different strategies, we were really thinking, how do we really bring out the poor from poverty? And we thought of, especially our main founder, Dr. Aris Alip, always thought of sharing the ownership to the poor. So we started with sharing the ownership. We don't own what we are implementing. We share it to our clients. So even our micro insurance companies, now it is insuring more than 33 million. And that's almost 40% of the Filipinos insured in the Philippines. 33 million. The clients, the women clients, are owning these companies 100%. CARD does not own these companies, but this is owned 100% by the women. And because of that, we were able to innovate strategies, like if the commercial insurance has been paying claims forever, almost forever. They don't repay on time. CARD was able to implement a strategy called 135. That means in one day, we pay the claims. If sufficient documents are gathered in 3 days, we pay it within 3 days and 5 days, and that's it. In 5 days, we have to pay all the claims, and 99% of the claims are being paid. When we sit down and discuss about this, we said, we can easily do 135. Why don't we do 824? So we do it in 8 hours. If the claims for insurance is due, it is paid within the first 8 hours. If not, then the next 24 hours. So it is working. 90% of the insurance claims are paid. And these are designed by women themselves because they own it. They are the board of trustees. We just have an independent board as required by the insurance commission, but they are the one really deciding, making policies for themselves. And we saw that as a good strategy to bring out women from dire poverty. They can own and manage their own companies. And we also do that with the banks. Card Bank has almost 100,000 women who are sitting as shareholders of Card Bank. And then we also do and expand in various regions in the Philippines, including the Muslim country, Mindanao, the Muslim region. So recently, Card Bank is the only one approved by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas to operate a totally Muslim, Sharia banking. And we have branches, actually 2 branches only because the approval was recent. So we have 2 branches operating in Mindanao, and clients are supporting it. So in terms of the other companies that we have established, it was not planned before, but we listen from our clients. And from what they are recommending, we design and implement different organizations. For example, in the insurance, before the first insurance company is Mutual Benefit Association. And then it only insures life. And the clients would like to have non-life coverage. So we established another company that provide non-life insurance for the members. Before, we conduct trainings under the mango trees, under banana trees, and Mr. Alex Counts has seen that in the Philippines, or at CARD, that we are doing that. Now, we dream of having an institute, and that was realized. We have a CARD MRI Development Institute, which we in turn, like Grameen Bank, has a school. So we apply as a school with the Department of Education and the Commission on Higher Education. We were approved. So we now have 5 campuses in the Philippines. And the design of the university, the college for microfinance is to train more and more staff who will be serving for the microfinance institutions. Because that is another challenge that we are experiencing, that there are not many graduates who would like to work in microfinance. So we just realized that when students are trained to become microfinance workers, then we have continuous supply. We have continuous supply of microfinance workers. So that is the design of the courses that we have been implementing. Even if we have accountancy course, the accountants that we are able to graduate from the school and pass the board exams also work at microfinance institutions, especially CARD has 34 institutions, and we really need enough or sufficient supply of employees. Now we have almost 20,000 employees, and we train more at the school. In fact, I have the president of the school with me, Dr. Flor Sarmiento. So this is our dream. Our dream is to share ownership, to train more microfinance workers or leaders who would continue what we have started. Because at CARD, at 60, we retired. That's why Dr. Flor and myself are both retired. We are more than 60. So the younger generations who were trained by us are now leading the organizations. So we hope in more meetings, the younger ones can attend. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your diversified works and your experience sharing. I believe this will be very beneficial for the participants from Albania, Congo, and Thailand who are going to replicate, who are going to start the replication soon. So now I move to Mr. Omar. Actually, when we think of Yemen, many images come to our mind, like years of conflict, instability, vast stretches of desert, and severe water scarcity. And at the same time, the remarkable resilience of the hardworking women who continue to hold the families and communities together under extremely difficult conditions. So, Mr. Omar, in the context of armed conflict, political fragmentation, and economic collapse in Yemen, what mechanisms have enabled Grameen Yemen to confront these challenges and continue supporting the poorest families?
Hello. Regardless of the army conflict and the economic collapse, Grameen has been continue to support poorest family by adapting its approach to difficult condition. Of course, this is success is driven by Grameen model, which being reliable and innovation in a weak environment. We will give some. There are a few key points behind this. First of all, group-based financing, which we said before, there is no loans, called loans in our section, because we are non-profit, which relies on trust and community supporting, with a strong focus in empowering rural women and reaching remote areas. And the second one is reliable livelihoods, is supported by activities such as farming and livestock and handcraft projects that survive and generate income even during the crisis. Third, ingredient support with the finance services are combined with health, education, and basic livelihood. Assisting is meaning that the money alone is not enough. And the fourth one actually is a global expertise by benefiting from Grameen network like Yunus Center and Grameen Trust to apply proven solution to extreme poverty. We are hoping actually to do our challenging as a situation in Yemen. Recently, we don't have anything from the government and from outside, so we are doing our best to, as much as possible, to help people, poor people, for every section, health and education and life, what they do like every day, from move them from the scratch at least to be alive. And we hope to do more and more.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Omar. Now, we are taking one question from the audience. We have already received 3 questions. One is related to microinsurance. So I would like to move to Roshane. Are microcredit members of Kash Foundation currently being enrolled in microinsurance What is the process through which this insurance is provided? Which specific risk factors are covered under the micro insurance scheme of your organization? This is the question from audience. I will. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much, Tasmina. If you allow me 1 minute, I think the first question is also very interesting. It talks about what are the biggest mistakes we've made. And I think to make this a little more interactive and interesting, it's nice to reflect on the things we did right and the things we did wrong. So if you allow me to answer that,
sure.
I'll take this response in the context of 3 crises. And those relate, some are international, and some relate very specifically to Pakistan, because that is where the mistakes come out. It only happens when the times are troublesome that we begin to see the fractures or the weaknesses in the system. So the first one I refer to is the 2008 financial crisis. If you remember, if we go back in time, there were flashpoints across the microfinance industry. We had the Moroccan case with Alamana. We had the Indian and the Pakistani microfinance delinquency crises, and we had several others across the world. And the reason what triggered it was high inflation, which impacted on low-income families' ability to service their debt. And the critical factors that came out of it was, which made Kashf question some of the fundamentals. And the question in the morning was also very interesting: what do we disagree with? So the first thing we began to question when 2008 happened was that perhaps we were being overly paternalistic. We decided what loan sizes were going to be. We decided about graduation. And we decided that as a microfinance industry, that the best way to do this was through solidarity lending. But when we looked further down into the crises of delinquency in Pakistan in particular, we discovered group fatigue. Women who had been part of groups were getting very tired. And many wanted to move ahead, but were being held back because of the group discipline. Number 2, we realized that there was pipelining happening in the groups. Now, these are all things that were not being transparently measured. So just to add, as part of this crisis, we began to understand that low-income families, and in particular low-income women entrepreneurs, require flexibility, restructuring, consumption smoothing, and a lot of other services that we were not offering. So post the 2008 crisis, Kashf actually reverted from solidarity lending to individual enterprise lending, what we now call the Latin American credit discipline model. However, if you look at the past from 2008 to today, our credit discipline continues to be the same as the solidarity lending model. So I think one of the things crises teach us is to rethink the model. Then came COVID. And in COVID, we were not prepared. We were ill-prepared. And this is where the divide between digitization, the more we rely on digital and the less we rely on human contact, our relationship with the client becomes transactional as opposed to transformational. And that is the crux of the matter. COVID taught us, as we heard in the morning also, that it's very, very important to have high touch in spite of digitization. Digitization is a means to the end. It is not the end itself. And this becomes even more critical, and I am sure Dr. Yunus, if he was here, would stand by what I'm saying, is that if we forget the reason why we are in the business of this, and we start running after digital financial inclusion, we are not going to serve the clients that we want to serve. We are going to leave behind the ethos of who we are. And especially if we look at Pakistan, I'll give you examples in particular. In Pakistan today, nano loans are growing very fast. Nano loans are loans that are less than $10 or $15. They're used for consumption lending. And the affordability on this is 350% in terms of interest rates. The client, these are done non-transparently. The client doesn't know at the end of the day how much they're paying. And women are being left behind because there's a huge digital divide. So as a sector, we really need to think about this. And the last piece that I want to talk about in the mistakes that we've made, which we must not make, is climate vulnerability. In 2022, Pakistan had some of the biggest floods in the country, in the world, in fact. And we had about 10 to 15 million people affected by the floods. So we as a sector need to really think about climate risk, about how will we address going forward this huge elephant in the room. We don't have all the answers. Even at Kashf, we are trying to develop now a meso insurance which will be parameterized. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. So as microfinance practitioners and as a Grameen family, these are the areas that we really need to think about. Coming back very quickly to insurance. Insurance is critical. What we realized very early on, and we heard that from Dori as well, that you have to listen to your clients. So when we started microfinance in the 90s, women started coming to us in a context of an Islamic country. They came to us and said, look, what happens to me when I pass on, when I die, in terms of repaying my debt? As a Muslim, I want to repay my debt. So we entered with credit for life insurance. Then we looked at impact, because monitoring impact is very important for each one of us. And we started seeing that as clients graduate forward, the moment a health crisis happens, they go right back. It's like a game of snakes and ladders. So we entered health insurance, which was a very difficult field to enter because it was an intangible in terms of the client. How do you sell health insurance to a client that doesn't know? How do you bring the health insurance company into the fold to make it affordable for them? And how do you empanel hospitals who don't really understand health insurance? So these were the critical challenges, and we dealt with them. Anybody who's interested in this, I can talk to you about that, of how we designed this. But ultimately, once we got this going, there was a very interesting outcome. And guess what that was? This product was designed not with a gender lens, but with a family lens. It covered everybody in the family. And we were assuming that 50% of the underlying population is boys and men, and 50% is girls and women. So we thought that the claims would fall within the same proportion. Well, guess what happened? It was the other way around. 70% of the claims were used by women. So we started doing research on that, and we discovered that the woman is the first person in the household not to spend on her own health, because she will not want to dip into family resources. So then we discovered that because she had access to insurance and it was not dipping into scarce resources, she used that as the first port of call. So interestingly enough, sometimes you design products that may not be gender inclusive in that sense, but they end up being gender impactful. So insurance was something that came out of the impact assessment from gender needs and from ultimately what we saw in the results. And we grew this program, and today this is one of our hallmarks. Clients come to us because of insurance. So the difference for our lending process, our client is both a client from the borrowing side and a client on the lending side. So there's no difference. They're not members, they're clients in that sense of a particular service. And then we also have livestock insurance, because women are very big livestock producers in Pakistan. So every product that we offer, we actually add insurance as a piece to make sure that the productivity and the gains from that insurance product, or from that, investment, are greater, because insurance backs up on the contingencies. So I'll stop here if I've answered the question.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Roshane. Now we would like to move to Professor. We know the mission of Yunus Italia Foundation is to promote social business, social entrepreneurship, and microfinance as tools to address the most pressing social problems, social challenges. Given the presence of Yunus Italia Foundation as well as Yunus Social Business Center, how can universities integrate the 3-0 principles to empower students in developing social business solution?
Well, given the connection between the Yunus Social Business Center and the foundation, is easy to implement the idea of 3 zeros in many, many programs, especially in engineer or in economics programs or finance programs. There is also different feelings compared to 10, 15 years ago. I'm banking professor, so we describe how to create lending activities, how to work with regulators and so on, so the traditional banking stuff, just the opposite of microfinance, following the Yunus idea. When we introduce some lectures about social finance, about social business, about microfinance and microcredit, at the end of the lecture, we receive comments, people ask for dissertation and so on. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we received different kind of requests at the end of the lecture. They ask for some entrepreneurship and investment banks and so on. So something changed in the last 10 years, 15 years in terms of feeling for new generation. So how to capture these new feelings? We can create some 3 zeros group. So we also promote some internship in the foundation. So some students can develop dissertation and at the same time they can make experience of the Grameen lab, how to help the people to apply for a microcredit facility from traditional bank. It's not very, very easy to do that because the traditional bank, especially in the large ones, in large banks, they consider microfinance as another financial products. So as we said before, it's a change of mindset. So help students, but also the society, that microfinance is not additional products that you can sell on traditional branches. Just one example, large banks, they try to sell microfinance in each branch. So, but they don't have enough tools to do that because they just propose microfinance. So many times it's not microfinance, it's not microcredits, it's just consumer credit. So it's not related to solve the financial inclusion problem. So social business help us to change this point of view. So we want to start solving possible financial problems, possible social problems in terms of inclusion. And again, the role of women, I think, is relevant because many times in our country we can see some problems in the family where they don't have a financial independence, so they need financial literacy to solve this problem. The same with the young generation needs. So young guys that don't like to study, they don't looking for a job, and they need some kind of stronger motivation. And usually the social business can give this kind of hook to develop a new attention to activities that can include finance as a trigger to implement social programs. Another interesting experience is related to a European project. We call that Social Challenge. I mention that because it's just the opposite of the traditional way that we consider microcredit and social business. Usually we start with microcredit, also from historical reason, and after that we try to talk in terms of social business. Sometimes to create effective microcredit programs, we need people with some skills. So we try to involve people from social firms. They help people, migrants, young people, to develop skills, and after that, they can apply for a successful microfinance program. Because sometimes they need some skills to develop a new entrepreneurship program, and a social business can be the first step instead of the second one. So start with social business with some entrepreneur, very conscious about the social problems, and with this kind of skill, they can apply for microcredit. From this point of view, also in the foundation, we can see some programs where we help people to develop specific skills to start the new firms. So they start with skills, and later on, they are able to start a new entrepreneurship experience in our country. Related to universities, there are some research related to, of course, the UNO Social Business Center. So there are some departments, a Department of Business, Department of Economics, where from a different point of view, they try to explore how to create entrepreneurship more focused on social innovation. In our country, we have a national center, one of the 6 European national centers that try to promote social innovation. And also in this case, microfinance social business could be a relevant component to do research and also to deliver this kind of idea to the new generation.
Thank you, Professor. We are running out of time, so I would like to move to Hanadi. Hanadi, we know that Grameen Credit Agricole provides both funding support and technical assistance to organizations across the world, helping to advance a SDG goal achieve and address other pressing social challenge. Could you share the key lessons learned regarding blended approaches that combine investments and grants, and how we can ensure that these resources reach the communities and projects where they are most needed?
Thank you for the question. That's a very complex and long question to answer. Roshani beat me to it. I wanted also to talk about the mistakes we made. Start with that and then move on. So one of the biggest mistakes we make as an industry, not as a foundation, is that we tend to box things. We put things in boxes. This is just the climate. This is just the insurance. This is just, etc. While everything is interlinked. When you go to the communities, they do not go and say, oh, now it's the climate, now it's the empowerment, now. Everything is linked, and until we start working on it as a group, we cannot achieve the impact we want. So that's the big mistake we make. The second mistake we make is usually we tend to mix impact with results. Results are not impact. Impact needs to be measured and measured properly, like my colleague in the first panel talked about RCTs, control groups, to understand the impact. Are we having an impact or not? And this costs money. So when we talk about the mix between the investments and the technical assistance and the support, what the investments do is they bring capital to the market for this market to grow, commercially, non-commercially, subsidies, etc. What the technical assistance does, it prepares the market to achieve better impact, usually. And investments, they bring you money. Impact costs you money. If impact brought money, every bank in the world will be doing impact. We wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't be talking about poverty now. That's number one. The second one, regarding the SDG 1, which is the no poverty, it's the first zero with Grameen. Poverty is multidimensional. So what Roshana was talking about, the health aspect of it, the livelihoods aspect of it, everything is linked as well. So when we come and we do financial services and we try to build the community to prepare it for being more stable and to grow, everything comes together. I'll give you an example. Many people ask us why we do programs on refugees, for example. And I like to differentiate. Refugees is a legal term. Refugees is a legal term for people who cross border. What we do work on is displacement, not necessarily refugees. And soon enough, it will start being climate displacement. It's starting anyway. So when we work on displacement, why do we work on this? Because these communities had everything destroyed. They came and they sat somewhere else within hosting communities who are already poor in rural areas. And these people need funding. So they get assistance in the beginning. And then what next? They hit a wall. So you have to work with the microfinance institutions who are willing to put part of the cost to get to these people and provide the services and provide non-financial service like education services, digital literacy services, startup services, in order for them to be at least stable. They might not grow too much, but stable. So you serve them and you serve the communities that are hosting them. And with this, you're doing a triple bottom line. The first bottom line is you get returns if you later prepare the market and start putting commercial investments. The second return is the impact return, the result return, the stability return, the livelihoods building return. Within this market, those people will be more stable so they can educate their kids better, they can bring better quality food to their kids, and they don't depend on charity anymore, because all of us know the ODA is decreasing tremendously, so the aid is decreasing. So we better talk about sustainable impact, sustainable results. And that's why we do both. We cannot do one without the other one. And the third one is the lessons that we learned from doing all this. I think we can put them in maybe 5 dimensions. The first thing is we need to align. We need to align our plans with the impact we want. So we cannot say we want an impact and not align our processes and our products, etc. That's number one. And I'm talking mostly about the international or the aggregate type of it, not the MFIs themselves. The second thing is adapt. Talk to people, adapt your products, adapt. And also I'm talking about investors. Many times investors, they make the mistake of going and imposing something. Well, These are our conditions, take it or leave it, basically. And sometimes it doesn't fit the market. Sometimes it doesn't really lead to impact. The third thing is listen, listen, listen. I cannot stress this enough. Listen to the client. And I think one thing we do really good at the foundation, and I'm really proud of it, we have a very, very close relationship with our partners, whether they are our funders or our clients. And this helps us to design products that better suit their needs, better suit their plans. And also, it allows us also sometimes to push them to do further, to go further because of the relationship. And last one, I said it before, is measure. You cannot talk about what you don't measure. You need to evaluate something, you need to measure it. And most of the times, the indicators do not match what we need to measure. So there's a lot of work that we need to do on the measurement side.
Thank you. Thank you, Hanadi. I would like to address one more question from the audience. What one piece of advice would you give to a new Grameen replication just starting out? Roshane?
Thank you. That's a great question. It suddenly took me back into time, 30 years ago. I think the first thing would be do your research right. Start small. Embed the principles of microfinance in your approach. But there isn't one way to Rome. There are many, many ways. So it's not essential that you follow one model. You can actually embed the principles, but decide what works in the context of your market. I think staff training is also extremely important. Whether your team is 5 people or whether it is 30,000, you still need to make sure that they can communicate the same thing. Know as Hanadi already said, listen to your clients, know them well, know your products, design them in light of what the client needs. Be willing to take risks and make mistakes. That's what Dr. Yunus said to me. You know what he said to me? He looked at me in 1994. I was extremely hesitant of starting a microfinance organization. I was 27 years old. I had just left my job at the World Bank. I was looking around to see what I wanted to do. And he called me into his office. I was hoping that he would offer me a job at the Grameen Bank. And he sat me down and he said, Roshane, Bangladesh does not need you. Pakistan does. Go back, here's a $10,000 loan that I'm putting aside for you. Take this money. It'll be an IOU if you decide to do this. I do understand that you're very concerned about certain things, but if you fail, let's say if you do fail, you can tell everybody it was Dr. Yunus's fault and not yours. So be prepared to take risks.
Thank you. Dori, would you like to add?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
My piece of advice is make microfinance a vocation, not really a work, but a vocation, and people will see your heart in doing it. And even the mindset of the central bank will change, because that's what happened with our central bank in the Philippines, that at first, when we became a bank, they thought that our loans are 70% guaranteed with collaterals. They were surprised when they came to us, 0 collateral. So they said our loans is substandard. And I showed them it's 100% repayment. So what will be the use of the collateral? So that triggered an interest within the central bank. And they wrote what they saw at Card Bank. They wrote it to the governor of the Bangko Sentral. The governor, in turn, were also interested. So they created a department within the Bangko Sentral, a microfinance department. That led us to train the examiners who will go to microfinance banks like Card. So we helped the Bangko Sentral train the examiners, change their mindsets, look at what we're doing with the poor, and then the rest is history. Our Bangko Sentral is #1 regulator in the Philippines who are really very supportive of the microfinance operations in the Philippines. And also, while you do it as a vocation, you have to protect it. Protect sustainability, training of staff, prevention of fraud, because it can happen anywhere at all levels. So when the commitment and the vocation is there, then you protect it. You protect also the sustainability of the institution and return the benefits to the clients. So like now at CARD, we have school, but 60% of the students are all scholars of CARD. They receive partial, half scholars or full scholarship so that they can finish their education, because we have also a dream to have at least one graduate per family. So if we have 10 million family as members of CARD, we are dreaming to see 10 million graduates. So we bring back the benefits to them, and we make them also as owners, as part of the protection. Because when they are shareholders, when they are owners of the social business, they also protect the business at their levels. So that's some of the strategies that we are. Can we borrow your regulator, please? Yes. Yes, we are sharing that our Banco Central has been very positive, and many countries have visited and learned from what the Philippines has been doing.
Okay, we are just on time. Thank you all. Today's discussion has reaffirmed that that zero poverty is achievable when other social problems are addressed with financial inclusion. Let us carry these insights forward, strengthening collaboration and collective action to turn our shared vision of zero poverty into lasting reality. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Casimina. Thank you. Let's go to them and
Thank you very much, and I think that it was inspiring discussion on research, on migrants as well, refugees, insurance, and all that you can do. So I'm going to, can I get the beeper? I just let's go back. So I'm taking the beeper for the third plenary session that will talk about the zero unemployment. And I'm happy to ask to come on stage Sharifa, who is the moderator. Yes, you're on the back, so thank you. So she will be the one to moderate the session. And then I would like to have on floor Mr. Shankarman Sheta. I'm sorry for the pronunciation, which is not very good. Okay, where are you? Okay, please come on floor. Please, could you come? Yes? It's your turn. And then Mr. Abul Kalam from Kosovo. Mr. Clément. Yeah, Clément from France. Mr. Martin Mata from Kosovo. No, Albania, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. He's from Albania. And Mr. Abdul Matin from the Grameen Trust. So, yes, we need to make the changes. And so in between, you have the questions for the plenary session is, what do you consider the most significant barriers to achieving zero unemployment through entrepreneurship development? Because we're going to talk a lot about entrepreneurship, but also for vulnerable communities. So do you think is youth engagement and retention? Is it policy? Sorry? Yes. Yes, here you have some. Yes, sorry, so we talk about market access challenges, youth engagement, policy and regulation, access to appropriate financing, skill and business gap. So what do you think will be the most challenging one? So let's see what is the answers. We have and gender-based barriers. So we don't see how many people are participating so far. Only one. Okay, we need more answer. And I still put the code if you don't want to Okay, so we have a few answers. Please. Wow. You see, this time it's 5 that are exactly the same number, so it's difficult to to make a difference. So
very competitive one.
yeah, this kind of competition. But let's see. So okay, no, there's still a little bit more that is coming in. Very good. Okay, so we can still, okay, so now it's kind of clear. You have the skill and businesses knowledge that makes difficult maybe for entrepreneurship development, followed by access to financing. Market access as well is the third one, in equally with youth engagement and policy and regulations. And then the last one is the gender barriers. So, Sharifa, I let you the floor to animate the debate. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
very well.
perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. It is my profound honor to moderate this panel on sustainable livelihoods tackling the Zero Unemployment Challenge. Thank you also to the Grameen Trust and Credit Agricole for co-hosting us in Paris over the next 2 days, today and tomorrow. My only interaction with this Zero Unemployment Challenge is, of course, through the work that I do at Abu Hari International University, specifically in higher education. So I'm very interested to hear insights from our panelists today, ranging from Bangladesh, Albania, Kosovo, France, and also Nepal. My approach today is slightly different, so I have individual questions addressed to each panelist. I will start with Mr. Matin, if you allow me to, from the Grameen Trust. As we all know, Professor Muhammad Yunus always talks about youth and individuals should be job creators, not job seekers. And in addition to microcredit and social business, of course, the Grameen Trust also seeks to replicate the Nobin Udoktia New Entrepreneurs Program. Mr. Matin, can you please talk us through how you identify an entrepreneur? How do you harness their potential, their interests, their existing competencies, with the aim of converting them into job creators so that they have this positive spillover effect? And also, based on your experience, what is the largest pain point of budding entrepreneurs? Thank you.
Thank you, Sharifa. Before I address the questions, first I would like to cite the example from Roshane, what she was telling, that working in this financial inclusion sector, the main thing to consider, as advised by Professor Muhammad Yunus, is to change the mindset. So identification of Nobin is not the challenge. The challenge is to redesign the mindset, to change the mindset of the young people. Because you know the motto of this youth entrepreneurship program, as we frame it as a Nobin program in Bangladesh, who belong to the age group normally 18 to 35 in Bangladeshi standard. So the mindset was, you educate yourself, you go to the very good institutions, you get a degree and you look for a corporate level job. That's how our brain drain is happening. That's how our young talented students are getting, I should say, spoiled with the corporate level job. The market is not growing. So that was the challenging part for Professor Yunus, to work on the changing mindset. That's why he labeled this Nobin program as, we will be job seekers, we will not be job seekers, we will be job givers. So see the slogan. So that's the place where we started working since 2013 formally. But before that, when Professor Yunus was with Grameen Bank, in the position of the managing director of Grameen Bank, he introduced entrepreneurship loan for the students, higher education loan for the student. But the students did not feel comfortable with the loan framework. Even they were given 1 year grace period after completion of their education to find a good job to repay the loan. they did not find jobs on time. And the repayment rate, repayment behavior of the students was not satisfactory at all. So he was thinking to redesign this loan product into an entrepreneurship development program. That's how the brainchild of Professor Yunus was Nobeen program, and 3 Grameen companies launched this program on the ground in 2013. When we went to the market, we saw the same thing, that the students are looking for the jobs, they are not thinking about businesses. So we started working on changing their mindset. And since then, we have been able to create more than 228,000 entrepreneurs, and we have invested more than $300 million into their businesses so far. That's how we are identifying the new entrepreneurs. We are unleashing their potential from them. We are giving them the confidence that, look, if you do the reverse, if you start the business, if you scale up your business, you can be self-employed, you develop your business over time, and you can create employment opportunities for the communities. So in this way, you can contribute to the society, you can contribute to yourself. So that's how we are identifying these new entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thank you, that's very inspiring. Now we move to Albania, if I may. Mr. Martin, over time the AADF has created thousands of jobs through investments in companies, although recently I understand that there's maybe some funding cuts, but in 2023 the Innovation Hub was launched and the Plug and Play Accelerator program that comes with that. Can you talk us through what are some of the indicators of success, how you measure impact, what your long-term plans are in terms of building capacity and sharpening skills on this front? And what is the role of the Crimson Finance Fund in this ecosystem?
Yeah, thank you. As a friendly joke first, you couldn't miss it more on me on anything else. On me working in Kosovo rather than in Albania, and I don't look that handsome and that young. That's Marine over there, not me. So, but still. Yeah, it definitely is my name, but I wish I was that young. So, the earlier, the better. That's what we've learned in our work at the foundation with regard to how we impact people's lives, and mostly in education. And that's why we have started programs. So there is a little bit of a different approach from everything myself, Sandri, and Marine have heard this morning and this afternoon from the honorable speakers. Because first, we are first-time invitees here. The Grameen Bank for Albania is under process. We have applied at the Bank of Albania. We're waiting licensing. So we're mostly on the listening side today. To your question, the foundation that Sandra and myself run has focused on education at an earlier stage because it is cheaper and because it prepares kids better. And that's why of the 85 projects we finance at AADF, more than $80+ million are focused on education, from kindergarten to elementary school, to high school, and then to universities, and then post-university. You're right, we try to measure because we have a very good follow-up system. We both come from an investment background, and to answer the question also, where do we find the money, which is a legit question. Initially, it was a US government effort, financing about $30 million for Albania as part of a US Congress Act in all of the former communist countries in Eastern Europe. And fast forward, we invested in different sectors, and with the money that we made, we created the foundation rather than get the money back to United States. While it was a drop in the sand back there, for Albania it's big money. And that money is the source of our financing. So with, when we look at programs on education, First, there are a couple of rules that are worth sharing with the audience. One, we've learned long time ago that Albania is too small and a bit too late to reinvent the wheel. There are very good models in the world, very good models, as there are bad models, of course. And I think we put quite a good effort in researching where are the best examples and where are the failures. And when we find those best examples, we try to bring them to the country and adapt them. Sometimes we have found a great example in Armenia. Who would have thought when we found TUMO, an educating program on digital skills after school courses. Sometimes we come to Paris and we find this École 42, one of the best school models that provides diplomas to undergraduate students without a professor. And all of a sudden we understand that it's a high-end game for those. And sometimes we found a coding academy from one of the largest companies in the United States, General Assembly, and we try to bring it to the country and finance for young professionals who want to be coders. On the Innovation Hub, we did the same. We found Plug and Play, one of the leading world's American accelerators, convinced them that there is a future, that there is hope. Now again, Albania is not the center of the world, though if you visit Tirana, I don't know why it gives you that feeling that everything starts there and ends there. We got the latest cars, we got the latest brands. We think life starts and ends there, but we're small. We're 2.5 million people. A lot of people have migrated, more than half of the population. But we have an obligation, we have a mandate as a foundation to support programs like this, in which a second rule to continue after finding good models is that we want to monetize and we want to measure impact. And a third one, and probably the most important, we have decided to stay away from grants because we learned from day one that we could easily get in trouble by just giving free money away. We get our hands dirty, we have a small team, but we work very hard and we develop the projects in-house and we keep a very tight control of transparency and integrity of what we deliver. How do we measure the success, you asked? Of course, the easy ones are how people are employed when they finish these courses. There is a very encouraging data that tells us that almost 100% of those who finished our coding academy get employed in Albania. 100% of the people that we send to the United States on internship programs come back to Albania. And of course, now we are seeing this domino effect of the chain of programs that we have. For the first time, we have people who once were kids and they learned something about junior achievement in kindergarten, and then they went to elementary school and they're learning about more curricula, how to form a company, how to create business idea, entrepreneurship ideas, and then they move on to the high school where they go through one of our most innovative programs, which is artificial intelligence for youth. We've done it in partnership with Intel. And then they move on to university where they continue with either the Innovation Hub or the École 42. And then I think in the next 2 or 3 years, we will see the first results of these young professionals that create their own companies. One last comment on this, and I'll stop. In one of our best programs, which is a school for central leadership, we provide some of the most modern curricula for the certification of the school principals all over the country. Is an Israeli, aged professional, one of the dearest friends we have. He keeps telling both of us when he visits in our office that, listen, he says, Martin and Sandri, if you invest in education, you need to be prepared that in your biological life, you won't live enough to see the result. You just need to make up your mind that whatever you're investing today is an investment, is a brick in the wall of data, knowledge for the future of kids. And only if you have the patience, and of course you have the money, but only if you have the guts and the commitment to continue to the end of it, then hopefully Albania 20 years from now will look better also because of that kind of contribution. And I think we are prepared for that kind of patience and for that kind of commitment. because education is never short-term and education is never cheap.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we move on to Kosovo. And here, Mr. Abul Kalam, I would like to invite you to share your experience. Maybe I'll just share a summary of some of your achievements at Grameen, Kosovo, and then to share your experience, but to focus on failures. Because this is something we don't talk enough about, and I'm happy that the panel before this mentioned some of their stories around failure. So if I can just summarize your achievements. Kosovo Grameen's shining example of microcredit and social business being replicated outside its birthplace of Bangladesh. In 2025, the organization has reached more than 26,000 members and disbursed more than 130 million euros in microloans. In less than a decade since the new entrepreneurship program was introduced, it has created 2,870 young entrepreneurs, disbursed more than 16 million euros, and created close to 7,000 jobs. What can we learn about not just your success, but also some of the failures that you might have experienced? Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Sharifa. And it's my pleasure to give some information about Kosovo Grameen Mission Arcobaleno. It's commonly known as Grameen Kosovo. So Grameen Kosovo, already you have given some information. And okay. So Kosovo Grameen started in 2000. So now it is 2.5 decades already we are crossing. So it's 26 years now. Since beginning, we disbursed a loan around 31 million. 131 million, and the repayment, the paid is 121 million. So at the moment, its portfolio is 9.2 million. It has basically two programs. One is microcredit, and that is already discussed. The new entrepreneur that is called social business. Social business we started in 2017, and it was very first after started 2017, then after a few years, you know that COVID started, COVID-19, and we organized more than 26,000 clients since the beginning, and the new entrepreneur program, we are considering the youth of both in the boy and girl, that is 18 to 35 years old. And this program is running well, and we have created already, you told that is around 3,000 micro enterprise we disbursed, and that is a new entrepreneur we disbursed, and we disbursed credit is 16 million, more than 60 million euro. So it's a small country already from Albania. That is, we got the information that is around 2.5 million people in Albania, but in Kosovo also 1.5 million. That is half of this my neighboring countries. I can say it. But this project is running well since the beginning, and it is a sustainable organization. It has achieved both is financially achieved the viable of this project. And we have some very good successful history. One of our clients, her name is Faria Hoti. She took credit in 2000, started with 600 euro. That time it was also the Deutsche Mark. It was not introduced in Kosovo, the euro. So first she took 600 Deutsche Mark. With this 600 Deutsche Mark, she started a small business, basically to buy the chili and cucumber, and she started to produce the locally. It is called hybar. Maybe they know it in Albania. It is called hybar, and that Faria Hoti, at the moment, that is, she grown up her business gradually, and at the moment she gradually set up one factory to produce this hybar and that is cucumber, some that is traditional product. And it is now in her factory now, it is around 40 workers they are working, and she is exporting her products to European different countries. This is one very successful one of our clients. And we have another one client is Regia Thasi. She also took credit in 2000, 1,000 euros she took in the year of 2000. At the moment, she has around 100 cows. In her, she has a cow farm. Her age is around 75 years old, and she is still working in the cow farm with her family members. She has 2 sons, and they are married also. The whole family members, they are working in this cow farm. And it is a successful, she's very successful ladies. So we have a lot of successful history in our this microcredit and the new entrepreneur, that is called social business. And this program, both program is running very well. Our strength is our clients, we have a very good understanding with them. For example, is during the COVID-19, we have a very good communication with them, and whenever we met during the COVID or after COVID, they welcome us like before. So the COVID did not affect so much in our repayment rate also. So we are, our repayment rate is since beginning, repayment culture is very excellent, around 96% our repayment rate. And so this is our microcredit program that is running well. At the same time is our social business that is a new entrepreneur is both are running well. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, sir. Now we move to France, the country that's hosting us today. I wanted to talk a bit about women and inclusion. More specifically, if you could talk us through your program, Deg Nala, the one that I mentioned in the email, which is a collaboration between L'Oréal Fund for Women and Grameen Microcredit Agricole Foundation. So through this, women have access to capital and knowledge. through capacity building. I wanted you to talk us through the different parameters of inclusion, how you measure inclusion, and how you scale such programs. So the few parameters of inclusion that I can think of is access, fairness, protection, and voice. Can you share some thoughts on that, please? Thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you for the question. Good afternoon, everyone. So Degnala, maybe to start with it, I should come back a little bit to talk about the origin of the program. Yunus France, we have been very inspired with the Nobin program. Martin was describing it before, and we wanted to replicate it in Africa, especially in Senegal. So we did start to do so. We had a feasibility study with Mr. Abdoulaye Khan, with Martin. They came to Senegal, they made a study. It was very promising, a lot of good things to do. Then we were looking for funding, so we went to the Development Innovation Fund, part of the French Development Agency. We got selected for the last round, and we didn't get the money. So we say, okay, what can we do now? What are the issues? And the feedback they gave us was that we didn't have enough proof of impact. So how can we change that? And in 2023, we totally did change our mind and our approach. And we said, okay, instead of starting with a microfinance aspect, maybe let's start with a social business one, with the training, with building the trust, and so on. This morning, Mr. Ashraful Hassan was saying in his speech that big changes do not start with finance, but with trust. So that's exactly what we tried to do with Degnala. Actually, Degnala is a Wolof sentence, which means I've heard you. So the idea was, okay, our targets, they are vulnerable women for marginalized neighborhood in Senegal, in Pekin and in Guédiawaye, neighborhood from Dakar. We focus on low literacy, low income groups to make sure that most excluded women can be part of the program. And then we said, okay, let's start with social business. No finance at the beginning. It will be for the next step, for the next level. Okay, thank you. And so then in September 2023, we got, can you hear me well? Yes. Okay. We got funded by the L'Oréal Fund for Women, and then the idea was to do training. So first, sourcing, trying to build a network with all the actors that knows our target well. So we are working with a representative from the neighborhood, from all those cities, with district on all, with association, to make sure that we can source the right target. When we did so, we did start doing on a weekly basis boot camp. So those boot camp, we want to change the mindset, as Martin was saying before. We try to do some kind of entrepreneurship trigger to make sure that we bring self-confidence, we raise awareness about what is entrepreneurship. We do some financial literacy, which is of course very important. We also work on the simplified business plan with a Lean Canva methodology, and we work on self-confidence. Every single week we do so. We have a field officer, we have a local project manager on the field, and that's their job to have those women coming every week. Then some of those women can apply for the boot camp. So boot camp, it's a 4-month program, and during those 4 months, we go a bit further, which means we do some financial projection, we learn financial management, we work on a simplified P&L, we work on product market fit to make sure that they are covering the market with their idea and with the products that they are developing. We work with role model. We have woman entrepreneur always that did succeed and can be an inspiration for the women we are working with. And then after those 4 months, we can already see a lot of results. After 3 years, not even 3 years, we did start in September 2023. We did train 2,200 women. 10% of them have been incubated as well. And last year, in 2025, we did an impact study with an impact assessment agency, French one, called Improve. And the results are quite satisfying. We want to do better. The idea is to have all the feedback and the insights to continuously improve the program and what we are delivering. But for example, we have a 98 rate of people that recommended the program to other women. 91% of the women better distinguish now professional and private revenue. 89% of the women now feel more capable of entrepreneurship, which is a very good number. 47% of the incubated women fully manage the household expenses. So all those figures and all those results are good, but we want to go to the next step now. So we did start, as I was saying, with social business, with trying to give opportunity by building this trust and trying to get to know those women as much as possible. We are not talking only about entrepreneurship with them. We have very regular contact. We have this high touch people were talking about this morning through WhatsApp group, through meeting and so on. And now we want to bring the next stone, which is a microfinance. So microfinance, we are working on it for months now with the Grameen Credit Agricole Foundation, with Julien within Senegal, with Vincent. And we are pretty eager to see what it will done. We're also working with an NGO from Luxembourg called ADA, so we got plenty of advices. And most of all, we know now the beneficiary we are working with. We know the sectors, we know the amount they would need, we know the one that we can trust and so on. So we are building a new tool, which is a segmentation tool, to make sure how we can orientate those women. Some of them still need to be nurtured, still need to be trained. They are their first step, let's say. Some others are steady, so they are doing something, but they are not ambitious enough to grow and to have important financing. So for those one, we just do orientation. We don't want to reinvent the wheel. There is a very good microfinance institution in Senegal, and we don't want to be just one more. So we just oriented those women to the good one with the right product and so on. And we are plugging as well the Nobin program to try to go a bit further with bigger amounts, with different cycle, and to scale the business of those women. And the last segment is experienced, so women that did not go through the Degnala pathway, but coming from an external sourcing, and then can directly enter the Nobin program. And for your last question about scaling, so the idea, and we really saw it in Senegal, is to try to keep the core methodology, but of course, obviously, to adapt to the local context. What has been done in Bangladesh cannot be replicated the same way in Senegal. We are also replicating at the moment the Nobin program in France, in Seine-Saint-Denis, and we are doing it a different way as well. All the test environment that we do in France, it's going through something that we call couveuse. So you don't need to formalize your business yet, but you can still have a number, registration number, and you can work and be an entrepreneur legally. We want to do the same in Senegal with interest economic development. And yeah, that's it basically. So next step for us after Senegal will be to scale in another Western African countries like Ivory Coast, starting same way, not with microfinance, but with social business. So, and when I say social business, so for Professor Yunus, you have two kinds of social business. You have the one where you try to solve a social and environmental issue, and the second one when underprivileged people, just by creating their own business, have a job opportunity. So that's the one I'm talking about here. And so we want to do the same in Ivory Coast next. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. There was a lot of sub-questions in that main question, so thank you for answering them all. Now we move to Nepal. Mr. Shankar Mantrashta, thank you so much for being here. And really, for this part of the discussion, I wanted to focus on the 3 zeros. So Nepal has the largest, for everyone's information, Nepal has the largest concentration of 3-0 clubs. So that's a huge achievement, and I think it's down to also your leadership largely. Can you tell us a bit about this green shops and eco-villages that have been nurtured under the 3-0 network? And how has CSD adopted the 3-0 framework? What efforts have been taken under the zero unemployment cluster specifically? Thank you.
Thank you, Sophia. We got the idea of the concept of 3-0 in the country forum held in Kathmandu online, where Professor Muhammad Yunus had addressed online. And in that country forum, he mentioned about the concept of 3-0 and also the concept of 3-0 club. And that forum of ours held in Nepal, which was attended by about 400 participants. I think in that year country forum, it was the largest. The country forum decided to go with the implementation of this concept of 3-0 and also the 3-0 club. And all the microfinance institutions take it as a new avenues to make the microfinance operation more interesting and also energize the local youth through the 3-0 clubs. So with that decision, and all the microfinance institutions have been educated on this 3-0 club and the concept of 3-0, and subsequently many of the microfinance institutions started to have 3-0 villages. Not only the concept is popularized, they made the decision that wherever we work, and we should create the area as 3-0 community or 3-0 village. So it has made things more challenging, and the field officials found it very interesting. Oh, this is really very good idea. And the first 0, poverty-free, now they have been working in search of the poor people and devising different approaches to address the problem of the population living below the poverty line. So they want to bring them up in a period of 5 years. At least their area of operation should be free of poor people and free of poverty within 5 years' time. Similarly, they also have been working on the zero unemployment. And they have been also organizing the 3-0 club. I think Nepal is the country which has the more than 50% share of the total number of these 3-0 clubs at global level. And we have more than 3,500 3-0 clubs currently. And it has made the young people very energetic, and they seem to be very lively, working for the concept of the 3-0. And most of them have involved in environmental protection, especially in reducing carbon emission by planting trees in their area of living. So this way, and we also, some of them call it these 3-0 villages eco-village, where they have been stressing on employment generation for youth, and they have launched the Learn and the Earn program in collaboration with the schools. And that has energized even the young children in economic activities. For instance, and in some cases, the children from the class 7, 8, and 9 are given some chicken, and they raise the chicken and they make money together, So they are now very active And we feel that through the course of time, they will be, after they finish their school, they will come out and they will become entrepreneurs. So this Learn and Earn program is very popular now among the school students. And this is a kind of building foundation for the school children for entrepreneurship. This is one thing, and also they have been now very aware of keeping their surroundings well and good, neat and clean. And this way, and they also educate their mothers. Now, having the 30 Club has tremendous advantage to the microfinance organization, because their mothers who used to be illiterate and don't know anything, who used to be confined to their household, four walls of the household, now they are because of the microfinance program, the women have come out of their household, and those who have never seen any currency note, now making money, counting money through through their small businesses. So this has made the microfinance operation very lively, and this eco-village where the concerning organization also have been working for the environmental improvement, and also creating employment for the youth. For instance, in one microfinance organization has distributed 5,000 these electric vehicles, It has tremendous impact in the environment improvement. And also the young people now, they are self-employed and they earn money. Some of them earn more than 2,000 rupees. They require to earn 700 rupees to sustain and even to maintain the electric vehicle. But most of them have been earning up to 2,000 rupees. So they will be able to repay the entire money within 2 years' time. And that electric vehicle will be transferred to them in 2 years' time after repayment of the entire loan. So this way, I think we are now making just credit business, It has been ritual, it has been a routine work, and now especially the young generation, they have been reluctant and not so happy. Now with this introduction of the 30 Club, it has become challenging for them to form the 30 Club. And the 30 Club, young people, students, they are so creative and so energetic, and they come up with new ideas. And last time there was organized one exhibition where the students have demonstrated, exhibited the eco-village model, how it should be. And I visited this exhibition, and I was so surprised, these students of class 7, 8, they have beautiful ideas of how their village should look like, So this eco-village concept has also made the microfinance operation more challenging, more interesting, and it has also made the local governments, very curious, and the local government also are taking initiative to help, to assist the operation of the credit plus activities of the microfinance institution. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And I'll just ask a follow-up question, and I'll go in this order with the second round of questions very quickly. So you mentioned about this eco-villages, and it's really, really interesting. Is there a structure or a template? Is it based on sector? What are the key components of an eco-village, and how do they benefit from being part of this eco-village?
It has many components, and the component will be different from place to place. depends on the local need. For instance, there is one eco-village which has a biogas plant which collects the dongs from the, they have also the component of cow breeding, cow raising, and the dung of the cows, they sell to the biogas plant, is established by a big entrepreneur as a company, and they also now in massive scale, you know. I don't mean by massive just giving more cows to one person, you know, 2 head or 3 heads of cows in each household, you know, and they establish a dairy center to collect the milk and they take to the dairy processing unit. So this way, and they have they also have adopt local schools, and well, they give them, and they educate the children on various technologies, as well as about the concept of 3.0. And this way, you know, so many companies, even they run tuition center for the poor people's children, because the students are very weak in their homework, you know, they quit before they complete the session, you know. So now the microfinance institution have been running special tuition center for the children of the poor people so that they continue their study. And now dropout has been tremendously reduced. See, earlier when we start microfinance institution, microfinance program, the enrollment of the local children in the school is very low, maybe 10–20%. Now it has raised to 95%. So tremendous impact in terms of school-going children. And it has been supported also through the tuition center run by the microfinance, support of the microfinance. And one microfinance institution has run 65 such centers, and the local teacher also got the job, you know. 65 teachers have got the job, and about 3,000, more than 3,000 students have been given this tuition to improve their level of study. So there are different kinds of, in some, for instance, in the mountain, they also have this vermicompost component, depending on the local need. But it mobilized the entire village in the participation of different kind of activity. Now the word itself, you know, 3.0 Club is really very popular among the people. Oh, we have to reduce poverty. We have to reduce it to 0. And we have to reduce such sort of, you know, consciousness has arose among the local people. So, and also the microfinance, since these are all led by the microfinance institution, the popularity of microfinance organization has gone up. Oh, these microfinance institutions, you know, they are not now confined to just making money, you know, just lending and collecting money. But now they have been doing many other things, and they should be here, and they like the microfinance. Their popularity has gone up.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Now we move to France very quickly, picking up on the example that we used just now on Senegal. You know, as you are aware, Senegal has high informality, and the root cause of informality is poor education or low educational attainment levels. Can you talk us through whether you are investing in that level of education, maybe some thoughts on graduation approach in terms of training, capacity building, and workshops for the women or their children? Thank you.
I will try to treat my microphone a bit better. Okay. Yes, so as you were saying, in Senegal, you have more than 80% of people, workforce, working in the informal sector, which is quite a lot. And of course, youth and women are overrepresented in those 80%. Also, in young women, more than 40% of them are NEETs, so not in employment, education, or training. And there is this low educational attainment, there is a limited access to formal financial services that basically perpetuate that cycle. So for us, the idea is to work on those two dimensions, those two aspects, as I was saying before with Degnala, to the training, the social business part, triggers entrepreneurship, then with Nobin Senegal, the financing part and the access to financial services. So I still think that launching a business before raising money is just execute. You do something, you show what you are able to do, what you have, and then you can scale, you can go further with some money. So what we do is that we start with doing that trigger, explain how you can execute, giving opportunities, or the one I was talking about before, like the network, the skills, all the tools that we can share and so on. And then you provide kind of environmental test, so you can, even without being legal yet, start doing your business, being recognized legally, and then when it will be time, you will be formalized. It's a prerequisite when you get some more money. With Nobin, I know that in Bangladesh, for the first cycle, you need to be formalized. It's not the case yet in what we want to do in Senegal. I was mentioning the GIE or the couveuse in France. That's what we want to do. So you can start legally, even if you're still informal, and then you prove that you work, you can make money, you can raise, you can scale, and then at this moment you formalize. So that's what we want to do, and that's what we are trying to do.
Great, thank you very much for being succinct. Short question for Kosovo. The unemployment, so in 2024, unemployment rate of Kosovo is 10.8%. Youth unemployment stood at 29%. And out of all the countries, I did a quick research and look at the numbers very briefly at a high level. Kosovo is the highest, yet we're talking about zero unemployment in this panel discussion. Can you very briefly summarize how you would convince a young entrepreneur to take risk, and how do you bring down this number of 29% youth unemployment?
Sorry. Yeah, thank you for your question. It is Grameen Kosovo project. Its finance is it has a big impact for to reduce the unemployment in Kosovo. So there is a lot of we have example by financing. By Grameen financing, a lot of our members, the whole family, they are now with this finance. Their whole family is involved with the works, and it is the creating the job, and whole family is working there. And the youth, especially, they are trying to move or migrate to European countries, and also we see some percentage they are coming back, return to Kosovo again. And our one client, he moved in UK. And come back again. He liked to continue in Kosovo, and he started a business with poultry farm. And at the moment, in his poultry farm, around 12,000 chicken there, and he's very successful. And his whole family is working there. So whole family is now employed in this poultry farm. So the Grameen finance it has big impact for the client's economic improvement and to create the new jobs. So it is very helpful. It is very helpful to reduce the unemployment in Kosovo. And we are already around 3,000 Novin, we served in 3,000 Novin, and it is created around 6,800 jobs. So we have a very big positive impact to create the new jobs and reduce the unemployment in Kosovo. Thank you.
Great. Back to Albania, one thing that you mentioned just now that was very interesting and that ties in one of the questions from the floor is regarding artificial intelligence. Can you unpack the AI for Youth program that you mentioned is running in partnership with Intel?
Well, AI is the big talk these days, and what we have humbly learned at ADF is that it's a work in progress, and it's too early to come to conclusions. So we want to find the best, let's say, balance between how we provide knowledge, educational knowledge to kids, and yet at the same time leave there room for them to improve, to adapt, and to grow. AI for Youth, again, is not an invention that we made in Albania. Intel has developed it, and there are about 4 levels there, one about skills, one about labor, another one on the education. And we decided to pilot it in a limited number of schools in Albania, in high schools. The results were very encouraging because Intel took the data, compared it to the other countries where they do it, and also they invited the Albanian students to compete in whatever championships or competitions they organize. The Albanian high students on AI learned quite a bit. Let's be honest about all of these initiatives. We think we're good until we're tested worldwide. When we go to internationally to programs, we do realize that others work very hard too. We're not the only ones crediting women or poor people. We're not the only ones providing educational programs. So the whole difference, I mean, because the basic question here is what gathers us together in this room? Like, why are we wasting, why are we spending our time together? And there is one common denominator to all this, which is people. People from kids, 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds, to 60 or 70-year-olds. Women or men, frankly, in our opinion, doesn't matter much. The common concern we all have and agree is that we want to improve people's lives as much as we can. And that's what we're doing with this program, AI for Youth. We want to give them tools in which these kids at high school level are curious enough to keep exploring, to keep looking forward to, so as when they go on to the employment age, not only they are hired, but they become the pioneers and the drivers for change. And it's a little bit, again, I want to conclude by what this Israeli friend told us. It's a little bit too early for us to brag about victory, but we can humbly and proudly share with you that the interest is high, and as of this September, we are planning to double the number of schools in which we teach AI knowledge. It's just a work in progress, and we all know that a lot will change in that direction. But if we start again early, and if we have the flexibility to adapt, then we will see the results that we all wish for it. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, and using your analogy, it's another brick on the wall that we're building. Finally, back to Mr. Martin to tie it all together. Final words, but before that, I wanted to give some context and really throw another curveball in your direction. So according to the World Bank, nearly half of all unbanked lived in just 7 countries: Bangladesh, China, India, Indonesia, Mexico, Nigeria, and Pakistan. Assuming there's one representative of each country in the audience here today, what is your message to them on how to address these challenges in front of us? And also your final words, please. Thank you.
I think it's very unjust for me, from Sharifa, asking 5 lines questions and telling to be specific in just few seconds. Anyway, the thing is, we are replicators here. We are Grameen partners. And if you see at this hall, who are here, people mostly, they are with their organizations more than 3-4 decades. So the message from Grameen Trust from me is, like, for successful replications, we have to create a staff badge that will be dedicated, motivated, and who would like to make other people happy. Other people happiness is their motto of their life. So if you look at the Grameen personnels also, they are with these organizations for more than 30, 40 years, close to 50 years. This is not for money. This is a motivation. They have come up, they have unified their life with the Professor Yunus's vision. So for successful replications in any country, we have to follow one principle, that we create a kind of enabling environment that ensures dedicated, sincere staff that always give preference to making other people happy to their own gain, personal gain. Then we have to educate our target members, our entrepreneurs, and we have to ensure the good governance. And on top of everything, we should not be deviate from our core values and principles. That's the main lesson we have learned in replicating Grameen models in every country. And as Sophia was indicating, there are countries that is still more than half of the population are untouched. So in terms of population, like Bangladesh, it's a very tiny little country, but in terms of number of population, it's huge, more than 200 million. So if you count the number, that's different, but if you count the country base, I should say that whatever the number of populations, if we can stick to the real core values of Grameen, if we can implement it properly, and if we can ensure the enabling environment, it's possible to replicate the successful model and to give maximum benefits and support services to the community people. Thank you.
No, thank you. I just wanted to extend my sincerest gratitude to all the panel members, from education to capacity building to eco-villages. We've seen a lot of innovation, but one thing that ties it all together is the importance of constantly reinventing ourselves and building capacity at the grassroots. So thank you very much for your time and the work that you do.
Thank you. So we're going to go to the break. I wanted to mention two things. First, you are not expected to take drinks here in this room. So okay, it's we forgot to mention this before. So take your drink outside, but not in this room, please. The second thing is that after, so we're going to have another session, then the closing, and then we will go to for the river cruise. We're going to take the metro, and I do have some tickets if you need the ticket. But for the people that do not feel to take the metro, that have problems, whatever, please come to talk to me, and I will find the solution. Okay? So the metro will be 4 stations. It's very nearby, and then we're going to walk a little bit, hoping it will not rain, which is not sure. So the walking distance is not too far, but I know that maybe for some people it might be an issue. So if it's the case, please come to me, and I will find a solution. Okay? So now let's have the break, and we come back here in at what time is it? We come here at 4:30. Yes, in 25 minutes. Thank you. And I'm so sorry. No, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe younger. Yes, so your name is here. not yet, not yet, not yet. You going to call them, or I do it?
Good. I will mess up.
Okay, so
I can call up them.
Okay.
Their name card is there?
Yes.
Order this way. Following this. Inside the calendar.
To ready? Non, 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 pas tout de suite, on t'appelle. Tu sais, c'est comme les stars, on les appelle. Vincent, les stars, on les appelle. On les appelle, les stars. So please, could you sit down? Tasmina, Dominique. Cool. So you do?
না না এই অর্ডারে ডাকবো ওইভাবে বসবো So welcome back from the networking sessions and coffee break. I hope everything is live now. Even though we don't have any proof, but we believe we have the full confidence. So for these sessions, this is the closing plenary of today's day 1 sessions. And this plenary is all about financing zero net carbon emissions, solutions for climate resilience. In this regard, I would like to call upon on stage Mr. Ashraful Hassan, the moderator of the session. Vincent, Deputy General Delegate of Grameen Technical Foundation. Mr. Kalam Mackenzie, the Managing Director of Yunus, Thailand. Jerome Gabriel, Administrator of Grameen Virunga. Mr. Akem Shirazul Islam, Executive Director of Basha Foundation. And Mr. Barun Banerjee, Executive Director of PDIM Foundation. So now I give floor to Philip for the big cast.
I'm sorry.
What happens?
Okay, so you're ready to be on BCast, so please go on. That will be the last question for the day. So can we get the question? So the question is, which approach, do you believe has the greatest potential to stimulously to address climate resilience and poverty reduction in vulnerable communities? Is it the design of green microfinance product? Is it climate smart agriculture practices? Is it parametric microinsurance? Is it technology and AI-driven solutions? Is it community-based adaptation funds, or is it carbon credit and environmental service payment system? So we have different options. So which one do you believe makes the best chances for you to address the climate resilience? You know, that was a subject that we have been discussing already quite a lot. We talked a little bit about parametric microinsurance. We talk about AI. So what do we believe? What do we believe that will work the best for that? And we have 8 participants. Let's try to go up to 20. 20 is the right number. Okay. To get a little bit more sense. Okay, 13, a little bit more. 17, 3 more, and then we can talk about it. Is that okay? Yeah, 19, 20, yay! Could we get 21? No, let's okay. So the first with the largest score is climate smart agriculture practices. So it's interesting. It's really at the level of the smaller farmers, and then parametric microinsurance and technology and AI-driven solution. They've got 3 the same level, followed by community-based adaptation fund and green microfinance product. And we do have only, I guess, 1 or 2 answers for 2 answers for carbon credit. Okay, thank you. Leave you the floor to for this last plenary session. Thanks a lot.
Hello.
Oh, there. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 4th plenary and closing session of day 1. It is my pleasure to moderate today's discussion, which is a very important, urgent, and global issues. Zero net carbon emission, financing zero net carbon emission, and solution for climate resilience. Climate change is not far away. It's knocking our door. The climate change is already affecting our communities where we serve. Small farmers, low-income households, and marginal communities, populations, flood, droughts, unpredictable weather is not just environmental challenges. They threaten our livelihoods and also sustainability. Climate change is an important issue. In this context, microfinance can play a vital role. Working at a grassroots, our organization develops innovative ideas, real solution from climate smart agriculture, renewable energy to the microinsurance, and green entrepreneurships. Today, we'll focus on strengthening resilience through inclusive finance, explore innovative financing, insurance tools, and smart technology, leveraging technology, enhance sustainability and inclusion. We are today here, very experienced panel, incredible lineup of panelists with me from Luxembourg, Thailand, Congo, and also birthplace of microcredit, Bangladesh. Thank you. Let's begin. So I'll go in this direction that I will ask question. I will try to make it 2 rounds, and I will take question from the audience. And who is really fit for that, I'll go to him. So first, Vincent. Okay. You are the Deputy General Delegates of Grameen Credit Agricole Foundation and seasoned financial leaders with a background spanning BNP Paribas, and development finance. The first question to you, how can microfinance build climate resilience and mitigate climate changes together?
Well, that's a big question. So just one remark is that we start talking about the elephant in the room, which Roshani mentioned earlier, and I have to realize that there is no woman on stage, which is a first.
A lot of.
So, yeah, and to be very, very sincere with you guys, it's my boss, Veronique, who made me realize that there is no woman on stage. So I did not realize myself. Okay. Look, well, first of all, when we talk about this subject, we have to be very humble. At GCA, we are having these conversations within our board, and in which there are many climate experts in sustainable finance, independent experts. We have one of our senior board member here, Sylvie, expert in climate, and when we try to address the climate adaptation challenges, first of all, we need to be clear on the fact that we need to raise our own expertise and understanding on what we want to do. So that's one thing. So we are literally these days, last year, this year, undertaking trainings on this front. The whole team, we are trying to build cooperations with climate experts to just try not to be too stupid in what we are saying in this field. Then, yes, we have an ambition, which is to raise a thematic investment fund. This is what we are doing at Grameen Credit Agricole. We are raising a fund which intends to address the intersections of women empowerment and climate adaptation. And the first thing we do by doing so is to listen to the voice, first of all, of our partners on the field. Kashef has just become one of our new partner, and I guess you all listened, even if you were post-lunch sleeping. I guess Roshane woke up everybody, all right? And everybody was impressed by the work she's doing on the field, and this is exactly the first thing we start with, listening what the likes of Roshane are doing on the grounds, how they transform what was a fight for access to bank accounts into the fight for widening the usages of financial services towards territories' challenges, and climate adaptation is one of them. And you could hear that savings, microinsurance. I was talking with you, sir. I don't have your name, in Bangladesh. Okay, they're involved in renewable energy, of course, sustainable agriculture, where women hold 70% of the workforce, is a strong challenge. They are very resilient entrepreneurs in this field, and financial institutions, to us, are the best aggregators to flow climate adaptation solutions in sustainable agriculture for these beneficiaries. It does not come only with financing, it also comes with technical assistance. This is a space in which we are very active for more than 10 years now, and so it's not only financing, it's also supporting the transformation of financial institutions with technical assistance. To me, this fight is beginning. The fight for climate adaptation is beginning now, and it starts with being more expert on our side and listen to the voice of the people in the field.
Yes, thank you. Now, Galam, you are the co-founder and managing director of Yunus Thailand, and also social business leader driving environmental action and inclusive entrepreneurship across Southeast Asia. So how can not-for-profit microfinance institution effectively position themselves within the broader climate finance agenda?
Well, very humbled to, can you hear me okay? Yeah, fantastic. Well, very humbled to be on this esteemed panel, and thank you so much for this fantastic question. And I think it really builds off what Vincent was also mentioning here as well, is that, you know, there's so much opportunity and funding that's going towards climate change at the moment. But the key question is, how is it being implemented and how is it going to the people that need it most? And understanding the assets, and we heard on a previous panel the high touch and trust and this community cohesion strengths of microfinance institutions. This is exactly what climate finance funders are looking for. And I think there's a key opportunity here as well in terms of integrating climate change mitigation interventions and climate change adaptation interventions together. And how are we basically integrating different business models for micro-entrepreneurs that are reducing their carbon emissions, but also helping them diversify their incomes and also building resilience at the grassroots as well. So I think this is some of the initial opportunities that we're seeing. I think in Thailand, we're not quite as vulnerable as Bangladesh, of course, but still in top 10 countries that are affected by climate risk. And in November, we just had a 1 in 300 year weather event and flooding, which had devastating impacts as well. So microfinance institutions can play a key role as well in terms of recovery aspects from different disasters and extreme weather events as well. So the first point in terms of introducing mitigation and adaptation measures together at the grassroots, new business models to do this, and I'll touch on this in a further response, and the second bit then being in terms of recovery aspects from climate events that unfortunately we know are going to happen more and more as well.
Thank you so much. Now, Jerome, you are the administrator and the Green Coordinator at the Virunga Foundation, with the background spanning McKinsey and Company, and the large-scale energy infrastructure in Congo. So you are dealing with a lot of things, AI-based things also. I will go with you in the second, the AI things. Now, how can microfinance support reforestation, sustainable farming, or payment for protecting nature in the way that works for both communities and lenders?
Can you hear me? Yeah, beautiful. Hi, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the question. Maybe also, if that's fine for you, I'll just start with a very short introduction to Virunga Foundation, because I think we're slightly different than the typical business you will find here. Because at the core, Virunga Foundation is managing Virunga National Park, the oldest park in Africa. It's famous for its mountain gorillas. It's one of the last parts where you have mountain gorillas. And there was a Netflix documentary documenting the struggle, let's say, of our park director to survive in a very tough environment, which is Eastern DRC, where you have a conflict that is sometimes low intensity and sometimes, unfortunately, like now, very high intensity conflict. And that has been happening for the past 22 to 30 years. So at the very core of our work is actually making sure a park survives, but also the communities that live and depend on the park resources to survive on a daily basis. So this is a question that I thought would be worth addressing, but I still haven't fully been able to answer it, obviously. Otherwise, we would not have any problem. What we could see is that the park and our work its survival was tightly integrated with the political economy around the conflicts in the region, but also the struggles of the people. You typically have 70 to 90% of people who live below the poverty line in North Kivu, so the region where we are. And what we also see is that because those people are so poor, they depend on a daily basis on the park's resources to survive. So be it charcoal, be it farming, or be it the thriving ecosystems and ecosystems services that the park provide, like rivers, healthy rivers, etc. And so what we developed is a program of economic development and conservation. So both needs to go hand in hand to be thriving. We've invested heavily in renewable infrastructure, renewable energy, basically 100% hydro-based. And what we've seen is that on top of that, we could easily provide financial services through the electricity system. I won't go into the details of it, but essentially we operate our energy system and are able to give loans to the people there. And so what we see is that if we are able to provide the means for people to survive in a different way, then destroying the park resources will make it happen. And sometimes it's very simple. I think one of the key points that were raised, or one of the key solutions to fighting or financing net zero, is climate smart agricultural practices. It's one of the key things we're looking to finance more and more around the park. Because primary drivers of deforestation are two things in Congo. I'm not talking about the different other places. It's charcoal, so people cutting down the forest to cook, and it is slash and burn agriculture. So essentially cutting down forest, exploiting fertile soil, and then moving on when you've fully exploited it. And that's two things we're trying to fight against. And for example, what we're doing is financing clean cooking. What we see is that clean cooking based on electricity increases the revenues of our enterprises, so that finances conservation, but it also reduces by 30% the usage of makala. Makala, sorry, is the word for charcoal in Swahili. And so you have those green technologies that can actually contribute to both, because on top of that, it reduces the bill of the poorest, the energy bill.
Thank you. Now, so I'm not audible. Sorry. Thank you. Next, I'll go to Mr. Sirajul Islam. You are the founder and executive director of Basa Foundation, and decade of experience in microfinance, institutional development, and across grassroots impact in Bangladesh. Just question to you, how can Microfinance Institute effectively integrate climate adaptation and mitigation financing while ensuring affordability and inclusion for vulnerable communities?
Good afternoon for everybody, and thank you very much for giving me opportunity to talk about something which is very crucial in the context of Bangladesh and the context of world. So we are running microfinance in Bangladesh for last 35 years. Initially, we were happy as long as we get back the money, but that is not enough. We work with the poor people in the community and improvement of their life, making them free of all kinds of accidental hazards and natural calamities is also our task if we want to work with them with proper direction. So my organization, Basa Foundation, we started number of activities directed towards addressing the issues of climate problems and natural calamities that we are frequently experiencing. Our target people with whom we are lending money and we are running microfinance, if they are in problem, we are also in problem. So we started working with the community. We thought, and also we have seen in practice, that only giving them the message, training them frequently doesn't work. We have to empower them at the community level. So we started organizing them in various pockets. By now, we are working with cooperatives made by our microfinance clients, and most of them are women. And they are gradually raising their own fund. We are also providing them microfinance, and we are also bringing the message of how climate issues are affecting us. And in Bangladesh, it's a case of we are in the forefront of climate challenge. For instance, if the sea level rises 2 feet, 1/3 of Bangladesh will go underwater. It's a delta country. And that means 4 million people, 40 million people will simply perish. That kind of a situation. So Bangladesh cannot just ignore this issue. And this issue, only by issuing circulars, orders from the top, will not work. So we have to prepare the community, and that's what we are doing as a quality microfinance. We are first preparing them. They are working themselves. They are preparing. They are accumulating their own savings. We are also giving them money. And then we are providing them all kind of technical trainings. So that is needed for them to be more stronger and more resilient to face the calamities. And in Bangladesh, so far, 2 to 9% of our GDP are lost for frequent flooding, droughts, cyclones, and all these. So we started working on that, and some of the interventions that we selected are, for instance, we saw that the greenhouse emissions and also the methane gas emissions from the pickle sludge, that is a big problem also. So Bangladesh, my organization, for the first time in Bangladesh, we have set up one plan in collaboration with the municipality where the pickle sludge is collected from the household, processed into compost, and used in agriculture. So it's a cycle. And this cycle is working for last 9 years non-stop. And all the pickle sludge-based compost that is created is purchased by the farmers and used in agriculture because they find that it has more nutrient than any other compost. So that now the government of Bangladesh, they included this experiment as an experiment that should be scaled up, and it has been included in the 8th 5-year plan, that the Basha model that has been done in a municipality should be replicated in all the municipalities of Bangladesh. So the methane gas emission will be reduced, and at the same time the waste, this pickle sludge is to our people is the worst kind of waste, and that can also be transformed into resources. That when we talk about the circular economy, it's the best example of circular economy. So there are visitors from within the country and from outside. So this is one intervention we are doing. Another is we have so far 20,000 cooperative members, and most of them are women. And they are doing some sustainable climate resilience agriculture themselves. And even recently, they are also being trained about using of AI in their activities. So technology is also coming, and they are receiving it. I was astonished how intelligent our local people are, whom we thought fool before. But actually, since they are in production, they catch up everything very quickly. So that is one thing. We are also working for reducing the carbon emissions. For instance, we worked introducing improved coke stove so that the emission of carbon is halved by that. And also we are working for reduction of emission of these all kinds of transports. So shifting those, we are working with a national organization called BAPA, Bangladesh Paribesh Andolan, means Bangladesh Environment Movement. So the transports which had lot of emissions, it is now out of the road. This is some kind of struggle. So anyway, what I am trying to say is that now microcredit practitioners, if they just limit themselves in lending money and getting it back, doesn't work, will not work. If we want to make the target people resilient and their future operation sustainable, then we have to bring in technology. We have to strengthen their capacity and especially involve women more and more in the process. That's what we are doing at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving such important insight how Bangladesh peoples are vulnerable in climate issues and what action you have taken to address these issues. Thank you for your nice briefing. Mr. Barun Banerjee, you are the Executive Director of PDM Foundation, a veteran development strategist advancing microfinance and sustainable development for marginalized communities in Bangladesh. So I will ask you, how can you protect the local ecosystem and build climate resilience through microfinance?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak before all these very knowledgeable people. And I feel some shaky about talking in front of those people. First of all, I am not an academician, so I am going to frustrate the academicians. I am a practitioner, so what I can tell is from my experience. The question is how can we protect the local ecosystem and build climate resilience through microfinance? That should be the pivotal questions. PDM Foundation is one of the many microfinance institutions which are currently transitioning from group-based to cluster-based approach, which is based on working with different occupational groups separately instead of working with heterogeneous groups, leveraging rapid promotion of production technologies, improved and eco-friendly farm factory management practices, along with human behavioral changes. Keeping in line with the policies, microfinance institutions are also transforming themselves by creating a new ecosystem that fosters digital system integration, generation of human capital to support innovation, enhance trust, efficiency, and professionalism required for working in competitive environment. The MFIs are involved in more than 2 to 3 dozens of subsectors, including agribusiness, manufacturing and services, solution of climate, and multifaceted and integral part of the whole ecosystem. Now, I am going to give you some light on the technologies or the system that we are working on. One is maintenance of biosecurity, because we are working with this entrepreneur, because in Bangladesh, every year there is 1,800,000 new enterprises are being set up. And so it's very important that we focus on those people who are running those micro enterprises. And we are promoting, one is maintenance of biosecurity, advancing farm management through RECP, resource efficiency and cleaner production, waste to energy production, production of organic fertilizer through application of 3R, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Water conservation is a very important one. Solar transition and reduce electricity consumption. Eco-friendly farming, use of biofertilizer and biomedicine for pest control and soil regeneration. Environmental sustainability through crop selection, ensuring proper cropping practices, marketing, branding, and voluntary third-party certification. Installation of devices, technologies for mitigation of air, water, and sound pollution in factories and in business establishments. Building lateral linkages with government service delivery system, public-private research institutions. Then promotion of digital literacy and application of digital technology and applications in resource optimization and market outreach. Building social network for fostering social cohesion. Those are the things that we are currently engaged with. And climate solutions, the ecosystem is built with different stakeholders like MFIs, borrowers, community leaders, market actors, government departments, service providers, government research institutions, government registration authority, microfinance regulatory authority, etc. So that is a brief introduction to what we are currently doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I got some question from the audience, and one question specifically for one panelist here, Mr. Islam. AI is used in irrigation or soil management. Question to all panel members, where is any zero carbon emission impact through microfinance except in fight against deforestation? Maybe Jerome and Mr. Islam, very short, because we'll go our second round question and you will give 3 minutes time for each.
So who is going to? You can start? Okay. Okay. Actually, I mentioned that we are working with 20,000 women farmer members who are our microcredit borrowers. And with them, we are providing them the simplest AI technology. And I told you already that it was also not in our belief that they will take it positively, but initially they are just preserving their primary data through AI technology, and so we believe gradually they will go on. And we will certainly seek cooperation from the Grameen, with whom we had already some cooperation. They are supported us, what we are doing with our bee farmers, honey farmers all over Bangladesh. So our Nobel laureate, sir, he was very kind in providing some assistance with us. And now Standard Chartered Bank is coming. So with Grameen, we have also recently signed the with Grameen Sukhi for health support to our community people. So on this issue of modern technology, we will seek the cooperation of Grameen also.
Thank you. Now, Jerome, the next.
Yeah. Actually, I have to admit that I'm unsure I understand the following question. Where is any zero carbon emission impact through microfinance? So if the person who wrote that could explain, or someone who understood it.
So now,
feel free to intervene. I think Callum has.
Who posed the question, please?
Callum seemed to
Callum understood
have
the
a
question.
better,
And will answer.
So where is the zero carbon emission
Yeah.
impact through microfinance?
Sure.
Except in fight against deforestation.
Yeah. Well,
That's why deforestation you did. That's why I went to you.
it's just that someone needs to refine the question for me
Okay.
to be able to.
So any one panelist can answer. Otherwise, I can escape. Callum. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm assuming it's talking about how we can, either what's the word? Sequester carbon through different business models as well, or avoid the emissions of CO2. So I'll give an example, and I think maybe I'm skipping into my next question as well, but the topic of ecosystem-based adaptation as well. And I think this is an interesting approach where you're basically looking for what are the natural assets that we have in our local community. So yes, it could be forests, and agroforestry is a great business model, but then it could also be something like mangroves as well, and how are we looking at different business models around mangroves. And in terms of Yunus, Thailand, we've zoomed in on the opportunity of seaweed as well, or algae. And here we basically developed a kind of a social franchising approach for women entrepreneurs to have small kind of seaweed cultivating kits, which sequesters CO2 and also provides them a highly passive income that helps them diversify their incomes and build resilience to the impacts of climate change as well. So here you can see there's a model of both mitigating climate change and adapting it using a natural resource as well. And another aspect into this as well is then how can you actually build in a payment for ecosystem services model here as well, where the entrepreneurs get a small fee to go and restock and restore wild seaweed habitats with the seaweed they're cultivating as well. And then this can then link in with carbon credits as well, which then provides a kind of a revolving funding model here as well. So this is just one example of how you can have zero net carbon emissions and climate resilience using local natural assets as a key resource together.
Thank you. So we have less than 20 minutes. We have 18 minutes time exactly. So I'll ask second round question to our panelist. So please try to answer within 3 minutes. Now Vincent's again.
Yeah.
What are the opportunities and challenges in financing entrepreneurial approaches to ecosystem-based adoption at the grassroots? Challenges.
Okay, well, look, the challenge is, I'm talking from my angle, which is we are at Grameen Crédit Agricole financial intermediaries, i.e. we are trying to link money from private and public investors to what you guys are doing on the ground. So the main challenge, obviously, especially these days, is the returns, is to pitch a real investment story to private investors while they have other potential less riskier opportunities in current market environment. Okay, so we hardly can deliver a 6% return to private investors these days, while with no risk they can place their money at 4% in US sovereign bonds, for example. So the main challenge is how we can convince concessional funders, like public but also private investors, to accept a way lower return to catalyze private money on investment funds or even within our institutions. That's a big challenge. The second one is clearly to tell the story as much as you guys are telling it. I mean, I always say that we are raising a fund, as I said, a $100 million fund. We are meeting a lot of investors, but I always tell these investors that they should come with us on the field and listen to you, really, pitching the story. So we have a huge work of education of private investors to explain to them what it is about when we talk about climate adaptation and how the wonderful aggregators, financial institutions can deliver impactful services. So we cannot just mention that outcome measurement is key. Yes, it's key, but in climate adaptation, we don't know how to do it really. So it's really about just telling the stories, showing that you can provide better access to climate adaptation solutions to beneficiaries, but it's very hard to measure, the outcomes on this front. It's not like climate mitigation. So these are the challenges in 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Do the same, please, guys.
So if I have time, then I'll come back to you again.
This is harassment.
Harassment also, sometimes pleasure. So Kalam again. So what are some of the initiatives that can enable microfinance for climate action?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that I think are worth mentioning, because often, linking to my previous answer, often some of these new business models are not necessarily obvious and not necessarily fully explored and introduced in communities as well. So I think the topic of social franchising is quite interesting, where you can do upfront research and development and refine some of the kind of key parameters for a successful business model, and then roll that out to entrepreneurs, which can then plug in and lower the risk for microfinance investment in this way. I think another way is also kind of educational marketing as well. So we're also about to pilot test a parametric microinsurance product for the impacts of extreme heat as well. But then when you talk to women micro-entrepreneurs, they're not necessarily associating the effects they're having with the aspect of extreme heat as well, and they're not calculating the impacts that's having on their income and on their livelihoods as well. So that aspect of engagement processes is a really important aspect as well. And then very simple things that cooperatives have been doing for a long time, like group procurement as well of climate resilient seeds and organic fertilizers, can be a really great intervention. And then also support on marketing and diversification of incomes as well on that sense as well. So with our seaweed entrepreneurs, we've also diversified them into ecotourism as well, and then bring clients to them from universities and schools and people around the world as well. So all of these things are separate from microfinance, but can do a lot to kind of de-risk microfinance in this area and provide opportunities as well. I think final thing I would say though is that social franchising and microfinance should potentially be kept in separate institutions as well, so that there's a kind of a limitation of conflict of interest as well in there, and also in terms of who has the responsibility for whether the business works or not as well. So I think that's something just to, as a word of caution on that side of things as well, but I think very mutually beneficial.
Thank you. Zeram, how can microfinance use AI and field data like satellite image or crop patterns to make better lending decision, especially where clients don't have formal credit histories?
It's actually a question that I had hoped that people would answer to me and not me. I would answer. I asked it to the entire panel.
To you and you are telling it is not
sure.
for you.
No, I think it's maybe unfortunately I won't come up with a solution. I think I can come up with a problem that we see, especially in Congo, where essentially most of the area is unreachable by any normal means. Logistics is a nightmare. You live in insecure areas for eastern part of the RC, and so you can't have a, let's say, traditional approach to data gathering to improve your decision on loan making, and that extends on a wide variety of topics. And so one of the key things we've been working on is how can we abstract ourselves from that need to collect data to have informed decisions. One of the key answers we had, but is not scalable as fast as we hope, is the energy infrastructure. As I said, that's one of the things we do. And essentially we realize that where there's no formal banking, we do kind of have a banking relationship with the people buying electricity from us. Because essentially what we can do is analyze every single time a person purchases electricity to us, we can infer, the patterns of consumption and indirectly the health of their business. This is one of the ways to just avoid relying on data that can either be fiddled with or is not available. One of the second areas we've been working on, but it's not ready yet, is satellite monitoring. We're working on doing agricultural loan, reforestation loan, and tie it with payments for ecosystem or environmental services. And how can we monitor that and try to inform on whether someone is a good fit for an investment based on satellite imagery. We've built drone GIS teams equipped with drones so that we can do precise mappings of the areas around us. We are trying to inform whether they're close to a market where they can sell their products essentially. And all those data, we hope at some point will be available to improve our credit scoring algorithm. But unfortunately, I can't come up with a definitive answer to that question. If someone has one, please feel free to see me after.
So from the audience side, we have seen in the screen when we start this panel, they're very much keen to hear about agriculture. So I'll go with Mr. Islam. The second question, what role can innovative financial instrument, including agricultural blended finance, play the strengthening climate resilience for smallholders, farmers, and climate vulnerable people?
Yes, this question is very relevant for our marginal agricultural communities to progress ahead. Our intervention, in fact, is to strengthen their capacity on this issue and creating an environment and some arrangement which helps them earning continuous income through agricultural activities using our finance. So we are using the agricultural value chain activities. So we are linking the entrepreneurs. We are providing information to the farmers which they should use, and also we are suggesting them the availability of technology so that in case of climate vulnerability, they can immediately face it themselves. For instance, my organization, we knew that in Bangladesh, there will be non-existence of the manual agricultural worker. So it is my organization who, for the first time, brought the harvesting machine in Bangladesh. There are 2-3 research institutes, but we first time brought it to Bangladesh, and with our microfinance, we distributed it to the farmers. So when there is early flood, they could use the harvesting machine and get back the harvest in time. So that is, we took every relevant effort that is required for them to face the climate situation by themselves. So that continues, and now we are also providing them the technology for making organic agriculture. With 20,000 cooperative farmers, we have said that they are trained to take up organic farming, and this has got higher value in the market. So they are earning more. When they have got their fund by selling their produce at a higher price, then their economic strength is also, and equity is built up, and on that we can provide them further service and technology to become more climate resilient. Thank you.
So last question from my side to Mr. Banerjee. What are the production technologies being promoted under resource efficient and clear production?
Well, I have the list here that the technology that we are promoting. One is associated with technology for water conservation. There are many of the, like nipple drinking system, auto drinking system, then hose pipe, rainwater harvesting, lot of that kind of technology that we are promoting, and technology for soil regeneration. This is to do with vermicomposting, litter composting technology, biochar technology that we are promoting. Then bio-slurry pit, that is what we are just promoting. Microbial biofertilizer, constructed wetland. Then the technologies for waste disposal, that biogas plant and deep litter system, burial of dead birds, incineration, biogas plant, manure composting, those kind of technology that we are promoting, and technologies of biosecurity, poultry and dairy, food bath, mask, gun boot. You know all these things that we are promoting, so that they become very efficient in respect of reducing per unit production cost, as well as then maintaining the local ecosystem intact. So those are the two things: ecosystem, keeping it intact, and also making profit per unit production cost, reducing the cost, and reduction of electricity consumption. That is one of the things that people, we are very much, the people are really taking interest in that, because it's reduced their cost of production, like solar panel, insulation facilities, transparent sheet, LED light, windmill, those kind of things. The technologies that we are trying to promote, but I don't call it problem, but the adaptation. It takes time for people to adapt all those technologies, because they want to see other people doing it. Seeing is believing. So when they see that other people are just benefiting from it, then they adapt it. So the adaptation, it continues, and bottom line is building trust. If they have trust on us, so we are very much sensitive to making trust between our MFI and the people and local community. Thank you.
Thank you. We are end of the session. Almost we exhausted the time, but on the screen there is a burning question, not for today, it is from the long history of this question. So always I am giving Vincent pressure, he is telling. So I will give him really another pressure to him, as he said.
This is a rascal.
So I will not read this question, you can answer this question. You have already seen this in the screen. Anyone, or I am thinking the developed countries produce carbon. Or you can choose, but my choice is this one.
Yeah.
$1 million question.
I have a friend in the room, and I will not name her, and she clearly advises me to remind that, okay, we can talk about developed countries, but we should include China in this question. And by the way, in accumulated emissions, we are at parity between North and South. And she's a very expert in the field. But anyway, look, our job clearly is to I mean, we're from the North. We are talking to Northern-based investors. We are talking to Northern-based DFIs. These guys are clearly withdrawing money these days. You all know that. We made a study, and we are, by the way, advocating this study on the reduction on foreign aids. It's not acceptable. We all need to fight against this. Are we able to create new public money given the public deficit we have, at least in France? No, that's not in our power. So our power at GCA is to widen the northern DFIs we talk to, and our power is to create new cooperations with thousand-based DFIs. This is what we do. This is where we spend our energy, and where we also spend our energy is within our own house, which is Groupe Crédit Agricole. And the way we work on that is really to pitch them the investment approach, so trying to show them that, yes, there is a return, even if we are not anymore in a negative interest rate environment, but still there is a return, and we can show that if we manage to show them that this money is protected by concessional money, it's a decent return. That's one thing. And on the operational side, what we do is that we bring them on the field. And recently, in Kenya, and we go there, by the way, early March again, we brought our Crédit Agricole insurance senior officers. And guess what? After so many years in insurance in Europe, especially in France and in agriculture, they discovered that there is on the field in Kenya much more innovative people in the microinsurance space than they are, especially thanks to very smart digital innovations, and that's because climate change is affecting them way more than they are affecting us in the north so far. So we have, this way we demonstrated them that they have an interest in observing and investing in what's going on in Africa to teach them how they will innovate for themselves in the north. You know, this is in a way a selfish way of approaching the issue, but it works because we're going to invest in Kenya, and these guys are going to commit resources to develop this business in microinsurance in Kenya. So I hope this answers part of the question.
Thank you. So thank you all. Good. So thank you all. As we conclude this session, actually our speakers shared their practical experiences and what they are doing. I sincerely thanks the distinguished speaker and all participants for their engagement. With that, I formally close this session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ashraful Hassan, for your wonderful moderation of the very burning sessions that is aligned with one of the 3 goals of Professor Muhammad Yunus. And thanks the esteemed speakers also for keeping the wonderful discussions. Now I would like to invite Miss Veronique Faucheux. No, not now. There's something to say. You know, as I told you early in the morning, before we formally started the program, Veronique is one of the mastermind of this gathering, who first proposed to me in the other building in her office that why not we meet together with all the partner organizations of Grameen Trust. So here she is. When we started, she was a bit late. She had some emergency, and but now we get her. We give a special thanks to her for helping us making this happen. So I would like to invite Veronique on a stage to give the closing remarks for today. While she is coming here, just I should say, come here. She began her career at Corn Product Company, France in 1986 before joining Beard Press in 1989. Sorry for the mispronunciation, it's mostly French. Where she progressed to Senior Marketing Director. She worked at La Vie, La Monde Group from 2000 to 2005, managing Top Family and Flesher Press, then joined Marie Claire Group from 2005 to 2008 before becoming Deputy Managing Director, and later Managing Director at Uni Editions from 2008 to 2016. She served as Marketing and Communications Director at Crédit Agricole from 2016 to 2019 before being appointed as the Secretary General in 2020. Since November 2022, she also serves as the General Delegate, what we understand as the Managing Director of the Grameen Crédit Agricole Microfinance Foundation, while maintaining her Secretary General role in the Crédit Agricole Group. So here she is. Sorry for keeping you waiting, but I needed to tell the people who you are. And thank you again for making this program a reality.
Thank you, Martin. Well, for these minutes, I felt sort of important people whom I'm not. Good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to be with you. And as we close this first day, I would like to, first of all, thank you all. Your energy, your stories, your commitment, they have been very, truly inspiring for me. Today, we traveled across the world without leaving this room, from New York to Bangladesh, from Yemen to South Africa, from Nepal to Italy, from Turkey to DRC to Pakistan. We saw the Grameen spirit alive everywhere, through financial inclusion, through climate resilience, through social business, through human courage. Our sessions remind me and remind us of one simple truth. We share the same purpose, all together, and together we can go much further than any one of us could do alone. This is why I want to focus only on one word tonight: cooperate. Not as a slogan, not as a box to tick, but as a mindset and as a responsibility for all of us. The challenges we face are too big for only a simple institution. Climate shocks, displacement, the digital divide, gender inequality. To succeed, we need each other, but we know that all. Cooperate means sharing what we know, sharing what we do, what we deliver, connecting resources, building bridges between sectors, and empowering local institutions to lead change in their own communities. Today, we heard the incredible power of women leading climate adaptation. We have seen how digital finance reaches people once considered unreachable. We heard powerful stories from refugees and displaced people, displaced communities, reminding us that financial inclusion is not a product, but a lifeline and a right. We also talked about champions, strong institutions that can inspire each others. Blended finance will be a key to this. As a Grameen Crédit Agricole Foundation, through the Women Empowerment for Climate that Vincent presented to you, we have already combining public, private, and philanthropic capital for women-led climate solutions. But we can and must go further, go creating tools that work for farmers in Nepal, young entrepreneurs in Kosovo, or women-led SME in Senegal. Because the Grameen family is not just a network, it is a community of values, experience, and innovation. And under our LIFT 2028 strategy, the Grameen Crédit Agricole Foundation is committed to strengthening, learning, building joint initiatives, sharing impact insights, and advocating with one united voice. So let me ask you, what commitment will you take from this day? A new partnership, a new project, a shared project, support to women's leadership, a blended finance experiment, mentoring, a younger institution, whatever it is, make it real, make it bold, as we said. The world does not need more conferences. It needs actions. It needs cooperation, collaboration, and courage. Before I leave you, I want to express my gratitude to Professor Yunus for his vision, to Raphaël Appert and Mr. Ashraful Afsan for bringing us together, and to all of you for your dedication and your resilience. I won't be with you tomorrow, but remember, we are not just a network, we are a family. And families support each other and lift each other up. So tonight, as you enjoy Paris by rain, take a moment to reflect on our connections you made today, because these connections will move us forward. Thank you, merci beaucoup, and look forward to be that we'll be building together after this exceptional meeting. Thank you, Varro. And a special occasion, maybe we can hear something, but I wanted to end my speech with that. And maybe you can get up.
Okay, so don't leave because I don't want to lose you. Okay, so let's make it clear. We're going to take the metro. It's 20 minutes. So we go take the metro Miromenir, which is just on the left side. It's 3 stations to go to line number 9. We're going to stop at Alma Marceau, and from there we cross the bridge, and it's just over there. So Alma Marceau is over there. So it's 20 minutes, okay? People, I don't want you to buy your ticket at the station if you don't have a ticket. So I have some tickets. So if you need a ticket, I will give it to you. I don't want that we stay days, because it's gone too long. So if you do not have a metro ticket, no, don't do it the French way, because the French way people run out of the whatever you call it. So don't do it that way. So if you don't have ticket, I do have tickets. So come to me so that we are sure that everybody goes with a ticket, and that we don't wait for some people to buy a ticket, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, we will not make it. Okay? So I have my colleagues, Hanadi, I have Anaïs, I have Julien, I have, who else? People that will help you to be together, to be sure that you will not miss the place. Okay? we go to the boat, and the boat should leave around 7. It's a 2 hours and 50 minutes cruise. So you need to be there. If you don't take the metro with us, you need to be there the latest by 6:45. Okay, if you take your own things. And the people we do not want to take the metro or do not want to walk, then you come back to me. Okay? I hope it's clear. I don't want to lose anyone. Otherwise, I will be in big trouble. So it's fine. It's clear. So you go there. We're going to meet all together in front so that we all go together. Okay? And the people who need a metro ticket, you come to me. Okay? Thank you. Yes.
Once we go out from at stop Almanarso or stop Trocadero,
Yes.
are we going just directly to Ponton 6, right?
Yes, you have to go. If you don't take it, you have to go to Ponton 6, which is over there. And the symbol is Bateau Parisien. Okay?
The closest metro is...
No, the closest metro will be Alma-Marceau. Alma-Marceau is where we're going to stop. Okay? It's Alma-Marceau. Okay? Sorry? No, the time for the people to gather to the gate, and then we leave. When everybody... Yes. Yes, you can come by yourself, of course. If so, the people we need the metro. Yeah, that's okay. said